I'm Mike Mercer. I work with a company called Georgia Credit Union Affiliates in Atlanta, Georgia, and we serve 120 credit unions that are based in the state of Georgia. In the United States, there are almost 6,500 credit unions, and they serve over 100 million people now. We have a number of very different credit unions in the state of Georgia. Some of them are quite large. Our largest credit union is called Delta Community Credit Union, and they have 250,000 members and over $5 billion in assets now. And we have at the other end of the spectrum several credit unions that have less than $1 million in assets, and pretty much everything in between. Many credit unions in Georgia got started as a part of an employer, and they served employees, and they have since migrated, many of them, to serving people where they shop and where they live out in the communities. And so there's been a great deal of change over the years with Georgia credit unions. Credit unions face many challenges. We are constantly fighting against too much regulation. It seems like we devote more and more of our resources every year to trying just to keep up with the regulations and comply with those regulations so that we don't get fined or in trouble. Also, technology is changing the way people do their consumer financial services, so credit unions are having to change from a history of providing service in person to a situation today where members expect to be able to get to their credit unions through their handheld devices and from their computers at home. And I think another area that is always tough is competing with other financial institutions, and particularly banks. They now regard credit unions in America as being a source of significant competition, and as you know, the banks, once they get somebody in their crosshairs competitively, they just as soon get rid of competition wherever they can. And so we're under constant pressure from the banks to essentially operate more and more like banks. And a key challenge for credit unions is to try and keep the difference between a cooperative, not-for-profit financial institution clear in the minds of the consumers. When they know about it, they really like it.